I write today to ask you to ignore much of the disinformation campaign launched to weaken the current Ethiopian government and instead to support the government in its efforts to secure peace across Ethiopia. My primary purpose is to briefly provide a perspective on the current affairs as an Ethiopian American and hopefully earn your support for the current Ethiopian government's effort to secure peace from the old Stalinist junta. I am writing this to help you have a more objective and transparent picture of what has been transpiring in Ethiopia, for unfortunately, there has been a well-orchestrated campaign of misinformation to demean and weaken the Ethiopian state. This malicious campaign against the Ethiopian state has been coordinated, bankrolled, and unleashed from the diaspora TPLF sympathizers who had all the privileges under the minority TPLF regime for several decades. Although they are the minority, these sympathizers are the most vocal and well-resourced group of Ethiopian diaspora community in the United States because of the decades-long bountiful preferential treatment with funds siphoned off the state. The TPLF cruelly ruled over Ethiopia for almost 3 decades. In 1991, the Tigray People's Liberation Front, TPLF, took power in Ethiopia. The TPLF was a communist party composed primarily of Tigrayans from the northern region of Ethiopia. Keep in mind that a diverse nation the size of California and Texas came under the control of a very select few, representing 6% of Ethiopians. Under TPLF's regime, Ethiopia became an oligarchy rife with corruption and embezzlement where TPLF completely controlled the market. Many Ethiopians experienced gruesome atrocities such as sexual violence, castrations, kidnappings, extrajudicial executions, and genocide merely because of their political views or ethnicity. The new Ethiopian government was established by popular protests and reaffirmed through free and fair elections. The new Ethiopian government opened the economy to all Ethiopians. In 2018, decades of nationwide protests finally ousted the TPLF from power. Under the direction of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed Ali, a Nobel Peace Laureate, Ethiopia has ended the decades-long conflict with Eritrea, established economic relationships with its neighbors, and opened the economy for entrepreneurs and private markets. These policies have earned Prime Minister Abiy widespread support from all political persuasions and ethnicities in Ethiopia. The well-funded TPLF began a Pearl Harbor-like assault and a misinformation campaign. The TPLF attacked a federal military base on November 3rd of last year, massacring the soldiers stationed there and destroying 80% of Ethiopia's military assets. The Ethiopian government unilaterally declared a ceasefire and withdrew from Tigray region despite winning the war within 3 weeks, in part to heed to the pressure from the international community. On the other hand, in the midst of its defeat, the TPLF also released thousands of criminals from prison and carried out an array of destructive acts, such as destroying roads, airports, and telecommunication facilities. During the past several months, the group's remnants have additionally remained busy organizing terrorist cells and death squads to conduct sabotage and reprisals, block humanitarian assistance, and carry out assassinations. The goal, as explained by many of its officials, members, and affiliates, has been to sow chaos, insecurity, and instability in the region so as to create overwhelming problems for Ethiopia's federal and local authorities, and prevent a return to anything resembling peace or normalcy. However, what is extremely disappointing is that large international media outlets such as The Economist, New York Times, CNN, BBC, AFP continue to recycle baseless, spurious allegations without minimal scrutiny, confirmation, or validation. Interestingly, after spurious allegations are raised, they are never subjected to follow-up or retraction, clarification, or correction, which in itself is newsworthy and merits serious investigation. Regrettably, the statements and claims from the Ethiopian government, no matter their alignment with reality, are assumed false and totally dismissed, rejected, and ignored. By stark contrast, only the assertions of TPLF are to be considered as objective truth and disseminated uncritically. Furthermore, TPLF has launched offensives into neighboring Amhara and Afar regions, displacing hundreds of thousands of people and committing summary executions and indiscriminate shelling towards civilians. As a result, TPLF is committing atrocities of biblical proportions, like ethnic cleansing, unprovoked killings, gang rapes, and lootings at will towards civilians. Recent footage coming out of the areas that were liberated from TPLF siege prove many of the destructions that the terrorists designated TPLF leaves in their wake. I humbly ask you to support the Ethiopian government's effort for peace. The Ethiopian government continues to invite any international investigations into the handling of the crisis. The United States has always been a stalwart ally to Ethiopia through its rough times in the past. Ethiopians now ask for your patient support as they try to establish a democracy for the first time in 30 years. Although by no means a perfect man, Prime Minister Abiy is the right leader the moment calls for. The epitome of most Ethiopians' aspirations for equality, justice, fairness, and unity. I respectfully urge you to constructively engage and work with Prime Minister Abiy in seizing Ethiopia's promising future. Arts Viewpoint.